What's up, everybody? I'm gonna start with a big happy birthday Bitcoin. Happy belated. It was yesterday. Sweet 16. You go, girl. I'm gonna do a quickie today. It's kind of a topic about testing Big Noodle and HIROS and agents, but the way I'm testing is actually what's really fun here. Okay, so little preface, I'm a sci-fi fan, I'm a sci-fi nerd, always have been. I'm especially a fan of Star Trek, and I think we might not be living in the world we do today if it actually wasn't for Star Trek and all that it's inspired, right? Okay, so what do I mean? So I've built a bunch of agents, chat bot agents. Before, I was thinking about trading and what they can do with fiat and what they can do with a wallet. Before I got there, I started with just creating personas, and the plan was to make a HIROS, basically agent collection that you can talk to. The plan was for everybody who holds a hero to be able to chat with their own heroes and other heroes and have heroes chat with each other on Twitter. Okay, so it started there. We own the IP. The IP of a hero that you hold is yours, right? I have access to it as the founder, so I know everything about each agent. So it was just a good fit. But I thought, well, there's an opportunity here to maybe create something with the same framework that gets a different kind of legs, different set of legs. Star Trek was the first to bubble to the top because the fandom is really loyal, really extreme, really huge. It's all over the world. And there's a lot on the web that is not IP I'd have to basically, let's say, borrow, because there are tons of Star Trek encyclopedias, tons of fan-made websites that is freely viewable, publicly available. Basically, if you have a browser, this agent can see it and learn from it, right? I like to think of an agent as having a different view than the browser of the web. So it views the data in a different way and ingests it in a different way. And but it's essentially a browser, right? That's one way to look at what an agent's doing when it's learning that from the web. So I basically made an agent that is just a representative of the Federation. I made an agent that is just the Enterprise, right? And then there's agents for each character. Didn't do all of them. I did the top characters like Picard, Worf, Deanna Troi, Riker. So we're talking about TNG. For those who don't know, it's the next generation. Anyway, I'll try not to nerd out too much in this video. But it's safe to say I'm a good judge of how good or bad these agents will be doing. So, okay, that's great. Got that working. And I'm like hanging out with them, chatting with them, and having them talk to each other. Works awesome. This is going to be super fun for anybody who's even like 10% fan, right? So then I had another idea, which is it comes from a piece of experiential theater that I went to a couple of times. I'm from New York originally, and there's a show called Sleep No More. I mentioned this on a Twitter Spaces with Joe Atang and Boyle. Monero was there. Sorry, got your name wrong. And anyway, it was the first time I'd spoken about it, and I was going a little off the cuff. But since then, I've really developed the idea much more. And it's Sleep No More was basically Hamlet, but everybody who goes to it in the audience, they don't sit in seats. It's a huge warehouse. It's in the old meatpacking district, where not too long ago, animals were being slaughtered. Every morning I used to walk my dog, and And at like 4 or 5 a.m., there's just streams of blood running along the curb to the sewers from all these buildings. And Covenant House, which was like a house for a building for runaways, was there. So it's all like prostitution in the streets. It was a very colorful, very dark, and very very surreal place. And so, New York, like other cities, have gotten safer, have gentrified. There's a lot more art and stuff happening. And in these warehouses have been converted into all kinds of interesting use cases. And one of them was this experiential theater. So I was surprised to be walking into one of these old bloody warehouses. And the idea was, so I rambled a lot there, sorry, memory lane. But I rambled because this place was really like kind of a special spot in the universe. It was nice to see that special things continue to happen there, right? Just in a different way. And what Sleep No More was you step into this warehouse, you're wearing a mask. Everybody who's not an actor is basically anonymous. You're like ghosts. The actors ignore you. But they're doing their scenes in a nonlinear way, simultaneously in rooms all over the building, small rooms, big rooms. There's set design in every room. And you're getting the story, essentially, of Hamlet. It's not like trying to be of its time or anything. It's a modern take. But all this is taking place throughout the warehouse, and you can go wherever you want. You can follow whichever group of actors or solo actor you want. There's usually a group of people who are following them, right? And as they walk from room to room and play out their part of the story, the rest of the story is playing out too, until it culminates at the end of like 2 or 3 hours, I don't remember, where everybody's corralled into one space. And it's really interesting. So I thought, what if I took an episode of Star Trek, let's say, or one of the movies, take the script and play through the script where the agents know their lines. And, in the actual movie or TV show, the camera was only viewing the action, Like, if the camera was on the bridge with Picard and company, we didn't have a view of what was happening with Geordi LaForge in engineering, maybe. But maybe shit's going down there, too. So I always thought it was interesting to storytell this way, in this nonlinear way, because maybe I want to be getting the point of view from the bridge without cutscenes, or maybe I don't actually care about storyline at the moment, and I'm hanging out with him, learning about the warp core or something, right? It's all possible. So I started playing with this idea of maybe you affect the story, maybe you don't. You're just along for the ride. You're just getting to experience the movie in this way. And this is going to be a grand experiment with the agents, because it's going to be pretty interesting to see the agents staying on script, talking to each other, interacting with the world, with the ship, with everything. And you're along for the ride, and you can be speaking to whoever you want to. And maybe they're telling you, hey, hold that thought because I'm on comms with someone, right? So like, it's a different kind of immersion. And from a technical point of view, what makes it a test is I'm going to be doing this at more scale. I think not speaking strictly to a crypto audience and asking for people's help, speaking to this global, fandom that spans decades and age groups across a ton of lore, a ton of canon. It's going to be a different kind of critical mass, a different kind of scale of test and scale of agentic conversation. And it'll be interesting to see how this breaks, how this doesn't. I think it's going to be entertaining no matter what. And I think, Paramount, please don't come sue us. But the PR could be interesting too, because whether Paramount supports its fandom or wants to shut it down, I think either way, no PR is bad PR in this case. But just for Paramount's sake, we do this with love. We do this with publicly viewable data. We do this for fans, This is something I'd want to experience, so I think others would too. And And hey, if you wanna support the project directly or bring us out to Comic-Con with it, I'm game. But anyway, the technical test here is really it's not just about scale. It's also about the idea of cascading rags or multiple rags. And I've been calling it rag switching. Maybe cascading rags, just came up with that now. Maybe that's a better term. I don't know yet. But the idea here is that those different those different, let's call them docks, that describe the Federation versus the ship versus, say, each character's homeworld and what species they are and what their traditions and culture are. Like, these shouldn't all be in one monstrous model, right? Basically, what I've been proving out is that when you have a big model and you want it to stay on script, it gets kind of hard. Even the biggest, most, commercially successful models out there, they hallucinate. You have to tell it not to. And what we're doing here is we're using essentially what people have been calling a small model, which is good for conversation, good for reasoning. It has all that, built in, but it's a blank slate otherwise. It doesn't know anything. It doesn't have world knowledge. And you can direct it to only use the knowledge it's given. It only knows what you tell it. And what's great about that is it can stay on script, and it won't hallucinate, and it won't make shit up. And unless you tell it, be a little less stringent here. Like, it's okay because we don't know much about this distant homeworld or this distant star. It's okay for you to kind of go off the rails there, but don't ever go off the rails about Picard's history because we'll get called out on it. Likewise, don't go off the rails when you're dealing with a wallet in our other use cases. We don't want to give a wallet to an agent that might hallucinate, right? We don't want a chat agent to tell anybody to harm themselves, stuff like that. So there's going to be times when we absolutely must avoid hallucinations. And this is a way to do it. Stick to the rags, stick to the script, use the small model for conversational capability and reasoning capability and a memory, but that's it. And have fun with the rest, So yeah, it's come up in the Discord. I got into it yesterday a bunch with some of our regulars in the chat there. You're invited too. Come on over. I'll link it below. And you're invited to join the conversation too. I'm the type of person who's always looking for input, critique. I'd say be kind, but I'm happy to have you shit on an idea, or add to it, or just praise it with some emojis, and that's a signal too. So yeah, we'll keep it moving. I got some other agents that are going to be just for chat, but not at the same scale. One I'm calling it's a nod to Eliza and a nod to Shaw Makes Magic, which is called Tap 16Z. It's going to be really all about the TAP protocol and the ecosystem around Track and Benny, which has really great momentum, great developers, and I think it'll be fun to build with rags that focus on the GitHub and all the marketing there. And there's a couple more I have in store also. So, and I don't know, I haven't spoken to them yet, but some of the homies who really helped with amplifying the stuff I'm doing, maybe they want some of this tech working for them too. And I'm talking about Ordinal Revolution. I'm talking about Block Runners. Both have been really generous, really kind, really supportive, and I might be older than you guys, but I feel like you're all big bro to me in a way, because you have your channels and you're all really good at that. So I admire you guys, and maybe this is one way I can give back, because we're still technically pretty early in this agentic thing. Let me get my tests done. Let me figure out scale, and we're gonna unleash the beast basically. So thanks all. That's it for today. And I'm also going to try to use 11 Labs to dub these into different languages. I want to be more inclusive of the Asian world and the Spanish-speaking world. So there's probably going to be a Chinese version of this, but let's see how that goes. I did some tests, and I was told it's okay. It's not 100%, but yeah. Let's maybe all these videos are going to have Chinese and Spanish counterparts moving forward, for better or worse. They might just be hilarious as hell to listen to. Okay, that's it for me today. Peace, and I'll keep everybody updated on the Discord, I guess, and through these videos. See you later.